pleasure to get to do these. At least, we try to do them quarterly. So what we're going to do today is hit some leaderboards, hit some announcements, and then roll right into some. I think there'll be fewer rollouts or fewer things for people to kind of feel like they're drinking from a fire hose, and more a few updates and some really important announcements for what's coming this quarter. So excited about it. First, let's take a look at some leaderboards, as we always do. Elaine Rogers, our number one first-time rider for the week, was 7,500. For the month of December, it was Adam Patterson, almost $25,000 first month out. Congratulations. Top 10 producers for the week. You can see them there. Our number one was Latanya James, certainly no stranger to the leaderboards, $24,612. Look at this month by Sean Hogue. $94,000, just shy of it in premium for the month of December, when I would argue that outside of our country, probably 80% of the insurance agents out there kind of taken off because they're convinced that people don't want to buy insurance. I love seeing all these numbers on the leaderboard to prove otherwise. Congratulations, Sean Hogue. But then, I mean, you just look at the top five with Brett, Jeremy Whitaker, Lee Jed, Omar, all with just monster months. So congratulations, everybody. Our number one producer for the week in app count was Mason Van Meter. Our number one producer for the week, for the month in app count was Ashley Richard. Well done with 68. Top Med Sup producer, Emily Levo for the week. Top for the month was Michael Jones, 4,355. Top disability rider for the week was Omar Diaz with 2,200, almost 2,300. And Michael Jones also number one for the DI board for the month, 4,355. Well done. Top IUL producer, Jonathan Colquitt. I'm pretty sure that used to be like a Tennessee punter, UT. Chris Cook, if you don't mind, send me a text on that. Can I get verification? Did you go out and recruit an ex-UT punter? Although Colquitts have punted for UT, what feels like for the last decade or two. So could be a current punter. Michael Burns, top IUL producer for the month, $60,591. Way to go, man. Top annuity producer, Brian Mumfrey, $179,000 for the week. Look at these annuity producers for the month of December. Karen Humphrey's number one with $999,000. That's how you kick off the new year.
Right.
Way to go. Top DFL production, George White for the week with $13,000. Stephanie Pruitt, big Tide fan herself, $37,356. Way to go, Stephanie. See Lindsay and Theo also. Total recruits. This is all kind of licensed, non-licensed, everybody. Scott Forehand on a tear was 9 in a week for the top base spot. Top direct was Jacob Pogue. Man, Ziller and Matthews, also great weeks. Top base shop licensed recruits. So Scott Forehand had 9 recruits. 7 of those were licensed. Still great weeks by Jerry Cantrell and Mike Casey as well. Marshall Whalen, top direct licensed recruits with 14. Jacob Pogue with 13. Top new riders, Ben Gainey with 4. Number one, Jacob Pogue with 10. When you're at the top of the leaderboards in recruiting, you're probably going to be near the top in new riders as well. Top SNAs, look at this. For agency owners, a 5-way tie for first place. Actually, a 7-way tie, it looks like. I'm not sure if that's a 7-way tie or an 11-way tie. Well done. Scott Forehand with 3 for the month of December. For directs, it was Kashawn Monteith with 2 for the week, and Melissa Weigel with 5, tied with George and Janet Matthews with 5, and then several people there with 4 as well. Well done, guys. Making a difference. All SNAs for last week: Andrew Vargas Segura, Everton Thompson, Gwendolyn Maltsby, Jessica White, Jimmy Foster, Justin Mamone, Kenan Baker, Kiana Williams, Linda High, hey, Lindsay Sanchez, and Shelly Crabbit. Well done, everybody. Top key leaders for the week: Latanya James for the month, Julie Mai. Well done. AO for the week, Heath Hendricks with 38,984 for the month, was John Paul Vetter with just shy of 175,000. Top agency director, Larry and Ann Griffin for the month was also Larry and Ann with $483,000. Well done. Top rads, Eileen Balmer for the week, Eileen Balmer for the month, $700,000 in premium. Not too shabby. Top MVP, Chris Cook is on a tear, edging out Marlon Faulkner. And for the month, also Chris Cook edging out George and Janet Matthews, $507,764. Cook, I want to know how that ranks. I don't have it right off the top of my head, man. Would love to know how that ranks with all-time months and weeks for you. Kyle and Lisa Kimbrell, top SVPs for the week with 218,000, just shy of $1 million for the month. Heck of a month. Also seeing Nate Offert just jumping all over the leaderboards, man. Love to see that. Kyle and Lisa, congratulations to you guys. $962,000. Carl Miller, the top EVP for the week and for the month, 118,000 and 690,000 for the month. Well done. Good months by lots of people there. Top associate partner, Lynn Watkins, 485 grand, 2.78 million for the month.
Nice.
Well done, Mr. Watkins. Well done. Top managing partner, top senior partner for the week and the month, 758,000 to 4.1 million. Top managing partner, Mr. Marshall Wayland, 797,000. Good to see Kevin Purdy's name in there, though. Marshall Whalen with 4,053,000. So the month was taken by Mr. Edward Pritchett, but still plenty of praise to go around and success for everybody. Top direct for the week was Mr. Jacob Pogue. For the month, also Mr. Jacob Pogue, $755,000, edging out Easy Eddie by $3,000. Well done, man. Top base shop, Edward Pritchett, $68,000 in premium and $232,000 for the month. Way to go. All right, Casey, we got some Champions Cup updates.
Yes.
We'll do better getting you guys also updates on for each direct who's in first place. Right now, this is our top 5. You have one of these winners as a producer that's going to go, but there's going to be 25 to 30 other people that are winning this contest because of the directs, and then also one top corporate producer and then one direct. And I think the thing that would make me the most excited about this contest is that you're going to have so many directs there, Casey, not just the one that wins for free, but so many directs are wanting to go to this event. So we'll have some updates on that here in just a little bit. But so far, LaTanya James right now in the lead as of 1/7/22.
Oh.
Boom, Kyle and Lisa Kimbrell. Lauren Michael as the top corporate producer. We're going to spend some time, a little bit more time on this next week as we pull more leaderboards together and get a little more current point totals for the entire thing up to this point. Look at these bonuses, Casey.
Yeah, buddy.
This is for the month of November. It takes us a little longer to put the bonuses together, so you're not looking at December quite yet. But Mr. Marshall Whalen at the top with 125,000, about just a little bit over Edward Pritchett at 124,506. The thing I like most about seeing these bonuses is, with the Slingshot bonus fully engaged, you're still seeing massive bonuses come out for the equity partners.
Yep.
That is a good sign.
Reason for that. Yep.
Top capital bonus winners you can see here, $2,400 for George and Janet.
Yeah. And
the top producers count, Mr. Ben Sefapor, over $3,000. November bonuses, $903,581. That's a big number.
That's through November.
Well, this is just for the month of November. We'll have some updates on the year here shortly.
Yeah, that's right. That's just for the month. Yeah, I think we do have some updates later. Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So we got a few more calls this week, obviously Thursday with Foresters, ways to get new customers and keep them longer. That's at 11 o'clock. We also have an FE webinar at 11 o'clock on the 13th as well. No call on Monday due to celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King Day. Probably a lot of people not going into work. Great day for insurance agents to get in touch with people and help some families for sure. Then also Tuesday, the 18th at 11 o'clock, we've got DFLIVIN with Mr. Mike Resma. Have some updates on that coming here as well. All right. Looking at my watch.
Shall we?
It's probably 8 or 9 minutes.
Yep.
For a total leaderboard. Oh, I don't think that's too bad, right?
That's fast.
I didn't have to do the Zach from Lego Maniac voice where I went too fast, but still pretty fast.
Yep.
So as a reminder, everybody, our 2021 word of the year, we just wrapped up, was invest. to devote time, effort, energy, and or money to a particular undertaking with the expectation of a worthwhile result. There were a lot of investments in products, leads, agents.
Yep.
Hearing about the directs or the agency owners and the types of investments that they made into their organizations, a lot of people grabbed that word and ran with it. So we're going to talk about, what did those investments look like? What did it yield us? And then we'll have our 2022 word of the year coming up here in just a second. Anything you wanted to add to that, Casey, before we kind of jump in?
I think, we're just really proud of when we look back at the intentionality of that word of the year, invest. There was a reason why that was the word of the year. We felt like as a company, we have so much opportunity ahead of us that we all need to make those investments. We know behind the scenes, we were making investments already into the future of the company. And therefore, it was about creating that alignment with all of you guys out there. And just when we look at, when we can just spend a few minutes celebrating today with you guys on what investments we made and really the returns that are coming from those investments that we're just on the front edge of. I'm excited about the word of the year for 2022 because I see what kind of traction we got on when all of us kind of get focused on one thing together. So yeah, let's celebrate for a minute.
Yep. Great year.
Amazing year.
Yeah, and I think we'll hit this stat in a little while, but I think now is the perfect time to kind of talk about it. Over 80% of our agency owners grew in 2021 from where they were in 2020. And I think that's exceptional in any given year, but to be able to say that during the year that we had in 2021 with all the challenges and struggles that kind of came with that. So congratulations to everybody that grew year over year. You're putting in the work, you're investing your time, your energy, your resources, as Casey was saying. And I do think it's important that we don't do it nearly enough. The way our brain works is to just take a second and really appreciate all the hard work that you put in and the success that you had.
Well said.
So what happened in 2021? Let's do a quick year in review. We started off, I cannot believe looking at this, that this was.
It feels like 5 years ago.
Like 5 years ago to me too. I don't think I've ever been as nervous as I was the week leading up to my talk with McConaughey. And I'm not the type of person that gets starstruck. So it wasn't about that at all. It was more about, I just really wanted him to know that I knew my stuff. I'm interviewing him about the book. I'm interviewing him about the stuff that he was so passionate about. And I guess it gave me a whole new appreciation for people that do really in-depth podcasts or really in-depth interviews that know their stuff so much. It's right. I think a lot of work goes into that for people. So definitely gave me that. But I think it was.
I agree. This whole conference, that interview, but I just think this conference was the fact that we had to pivot and go virtual. Was in a way, again, the silver lining was we probably had 2 to 3 times the amount of visibility into our company. And we did it on this stage in Knoxville. No one really had to know or knew it was in Knoxville, but just the look of that. I mean, if you just even look at these pictures, and if you remember the stage set and everything, it was just like, it was a really good foot forward into kind of visibility into a lot more people's lives and a lot more people's homes. So that was the thing that really kicked the year off strong.
Close to 20,000 people were able to log in and view. So congratulations to everybody that was a part of that. Definitely gave us some ideas. It also feels like maybe we launched HQ 2 years ago, but we launched it last year rather, 2021. And so much work behind the scenes kind of went into that, and so much transparency given to all the AOs and all the agents out there into their numbers, all of the announcements. That's going to continue to build. It's going to continue to get better. There are new things coming out where you'll be able to access more of your lead types more quickly, more recruiting leads, those type things. So we're going to continue making this more robust. It's going to continue to grow and get better. And I think maybe it's easy to kind of take for granted just how easily accessible some of your numbers are that are important for running your business. when you look around the industry, other people don't have that to the degree that we have. And we're consistently getting better with carrier feeds, how much information we can get, how quickly we can get those from the carriers. That's not an easy task.
Yep.
These carriers have done something a certain way for a long time, many of them not updating in a decade or more. And to be able to kind of pull things in from a real-time standpoint is it's a task, and it's something that I think a lot of congratulations, kudos goes to many departments over here at the home office. So congratulations, everybody that put all the hard work into that.
Yep.
We launched our cross-sell engine, quality member services. You'll begin to hear us call this a little bit more cross-sell, a little bit more QMS. There's some good reasons for that, some that you'll know soon. But I think for the first year that we were able to roll this out, if you kind of skip down here to the last line, over $1 million in passive income was generated for Symmetry agents. That is a huge success, considering that there were trials, there were certainly tribulations, there were certainly things that we had to learn to do better. There were data issues that we had to get better at. There were retention issues with these types of agents that you want them to be as knowledgeable and as good working with your clients. So certainly went through some challenges, but I think the fact that we were able to increase the amount of data throughout the year going to the advanced sales teams, we were able to increase the contact and appointment rates. We were able to generate, again, the final result being over $1 million in passive income for Symmetry agents. I think it was just last month. I got a text from Mike and Sarah Pappas where they received a monster.
Yeah.
Monster.
Like $17,000 or something. Yeah.
QMS check. I think it was around $17,000.
Yep.
And some managers say, well, I want mine. How do I get mine? It comes that we don't, it's not that we kind of pick and choose which managers or which areas we're doing. All of this, for the most part, 90% of this had to transition from being in person to virtual in this year, because we just rolled it out this year. And many of the agents that work QMS, they were accustomed to sitting kneecap to kneecap as well. So making that transition to virtual also was a huge deal.
Yep. And the cross-sell machine is, like, as Brandon is saying, it's just getting started, guys. I mean, we're on, we're still in the very foundational stages of the cross-sell kind of machine building up. And there's stuff coming this year on that front, multiple things coming this year on that front that we think we can, 5X, 10X this 1 million in passive income for SFG agents. But that in itself is just something to be super excited about, super proud of.
Yeah, I think a lot of you are going to begin to know Jason Ditson, Mike Hansen, who you haven't had a chance to meet, worked a good deal on this, as well as Mark Palmer, Doug Zay on the operations side. So to put it in perspective, no one in the industry has figured this out. No one in the industry has figured this out to the degree that we have so far. And we're, like Casey said, just getting started.
Well, if anyone is doing any sort of cross-sell, which we don't know of anyone that is, they're certainly not passing the commission split on to the agents. They're keeping it all in-house in corporate. So for me, again, that's the thing about this company is it's ran by agents, ran our agents. So anything we think about building for this thing, it's like, what would we want if we were agents? If we were still in the field, if we were selling insurance, what would we want? I would want somebody to come back on my clients and help them with products that I don't understand or even care to understand right now at this phase of my business, because I'm trying to build a business or whatever whatever it is. Or maybe you're the type person that says, actually, I wouldn't mind learning these advanced level products. And we got more to talk about this year on that note, but pretty cool.
A lot of recruiting enhancements as we continue to kind of evolve how we're going after and sharing the best opportunity in the industry. You're going to continue to see more and more of an evolution here this year. And we're really just getting started, very excited. But there were a lot of new things that came out, new video series that you were heavily involved in, Casey, new recruiting leads that we generated just in the last half of the year, over 10,000. We're going to continue to kind of refine those, get those better, not just looking at traditional things like ZipRecruiter, Indeed, or any of these others, but actually going out and targeting very specifically licensed agents in certain areas to let them know that we are here and what the opportunity actually is. But in saying that, it was certainly a challenging year, I think, for a lot of people with Clear Company, with ZipRecruiter. Big kudos to Max Day, who worked directly with them over I guess the last quarter of the year, mainly trying to make sure that we stayed in their good graces, but also that we could really scale the number of people kind of taking a look at us month over month. And that's going to continue to get better. We have some exciting announcements coming out. Won't get into it as much quite today, but very soon.
Yeah, just so you guys know, the end goal of our recruiting system here is that our philosophy is, why would we not want our recruiting platform to be as good, if not better, than our client lead generation platform?
Right.
You know, and so, because that's one of the big things, right, for this company, is that you can come here as an agent and not have to worry about how to find clients. We do that. We think we can do so much better in a lot of very similar things from a recruiting standpoint, to where we not only can start generating a ton of actual potential recruits for you to have interviews with, but bring that pricing down, get it into a value-based lead pricing system also, so that it's just a lot more turnkey, a lot more automated, and you wake up weekly, daily with not only clients to talk to, but potential candidates to talk to that have already seen our funnel, they've already been through our website. You got a lot better footing to go on through the interview process. So that is the future state of this whole recruiting platform.
Yep, well said. We rolled out the Slingshot Bonus,
Yeah.
and that was just in the last quarter of the year. And I can't tell you how many agents and managers that we've heard from that just love this bonus program. People that were able to slingshot themselves up from a 70 to an 85 and in half the time, or maybe 70 to an 80, right? And the good news is this is going to stay engaged. We've been saying it's going to stay engaged through Denver. It was called Slingshot to Denver. Well, since we've had to reschedule Denver, this will be engaged through the end of February. We're going to continue to look at the math. We're going to continue to look at the data, see what kind of impact it's having. But I can tell you what we've seen so far is it's been a tremendous success. And I would say kudos to the agency owners and the directs that do the best job of really promoting this, of really keeping in front of new agents, of talking to them. You know, a year and a half ago, as we really began to take a deep dive into our organization and what it takes for an agent to be successful in Symmetry, and to not only be successful kind of right out of the gate, but to really increase retention, to be here 6 months, a year beyond, and kind of understanding the SNA count. You know, so it started with becoming a seasoned new agent, what that looks like, and then how do you really promote that? Because if you're people ask us this all the time, Casey, managers ask us this all the time. If there's one thing you can point to that creates an SNA or that creates growth in an organization, to us, it's real simple. It's engagement. There's over 2,300 people on the call today. That means that we should have 2,500 next week. How good are you as a manager at making sure that your agents that come into the organization are engaged? The people that put this in front of their agents the most and the best are getting the biggest results. And so how, as a new agent or as a manager, Casey, what advice would you give them on kind of getting the most out of this bonus? Because as we'll show you here in just a second, there was a huge amount of bonus payout, over $300,000.
Yeah, man, it's like, you know, we always say the 3 T's. Anytime I want more of something in my business, it's talk, teach, testimonial. So as a manager or as a leader, you have to start thinking about the passive motivators that are just baked into our system. That's the beauty of our system, is you don't have to wake up every day if you're building an agency and try to figure out ways to motivate people or figure out ways to incentivize people. The system does that, but you have to embed these things like Slingshot into that new agent's brain. And you got to do that more than once sometimes. So it's like just keeping in front of them on your huddle ups. Are you talking about it? Are you celebrating the wins? Are you celebrating the people that got the Slingshot? Are you explaining what it is early on in the process of your onboarding? Is there a moment where you actually get to make sure you explain Slingshot? So it's just that. You just got to talk about it, teach them on it, testimonial it, and make sure you have things in your system and in your process that do some of that as well. And again, so much of the stuff that we're going to be talking about here soon will also do a lot of that lifting for you. So we're trying to look at our system and say, how can we actually kind of spoon feed agents what they need when they need it, especially early on, so it doesn't feel like they're drinking from a fire hose. And so how do you do that systematically? So exciting stuff there, but you just got to keep it in front of people.
Yep. Oh, hang on. There we go. I don't know that people really understood the value. A lot of people, I should say, maybe didn't understand the value of transforming the way that leads have been done with our company for 11 years, 12 years, but really transforming the industry and how we're wanting to sell leads. Casey, I think you do a great job of really explaining why this is so big. But I'll say this, we have had over the past 6 months, 90 days, such a huge influx of people coming from other organizations. And the biggest complaint that we always get is leads are terrible there. Maybe they're owned by one of the owners of the companies and they're using it as a profit center, and they don't really care how good the leads are because their job is just to sell leads, sell. I think anybody that's been with us for 5 minutes knows that this is our largest line item, our largest expense every single year. And to say that we want to create transparency on just how good leads are and can be, that is something that is so unique in the industry, Casey. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. People are coming over in droves right now. Their biggest complaint is that they don't have trust in the leads that they're working through various vendors or whoever they're purchasing their leads through. And there's just a disconnect between what an actual value of a lead is. And so this was about bringing a high level of visibility and trust into the equation. And we do that with data. We've got 12 years worth of data we can go back and look at, and we can align that with agents, and we can say, well, what are the top, what does the average or typical agent get with our company on our leads from a return standpoint? And we even do that based on contract level. We look at every variable, and so it was about bringing that level of transparency to the table, and we're going to continue to lean into this. And so pricing now isn't just about, well, what does the lead cost us? If the lead cost us $65 or $75, then we're going to at least need to charge 45 or whatever the number is. It's less, it's not an approach like that, like maybe it was for the first while in our company. It was like, well, we have to sell this lead for a certain amount because and I think we all in our guts kind of knew where that range was that needed to be healthy for the agent, but this is about getting it precise. And the other byproduct that it's actually one of the biggest upsides in all of this is it holds us as a company accountable to our value that we're actually selling our leads for. Right. And so it's making us have to get smarter and better behind the scenes in how we're actually generating these leads, because we know there's transparency involved. And we know that in the end, if the agents aren't profitable, then they're not going to be here. And so that's our whole objective, is to not just attract and bring agents to us, it's to keep agents. It's always been about the long game for us. And so this is just part of that. You disappear, Brando?
Sorry. Well said. Yeah, I was trying to, Spivey said I had a hanger, so he made me nervous.
I think he's probably just trying to get in your head. I didn't see that.
You didn't? Well, looking good. It's a little red.
Yeah, and again, this is going to start to this. So much of what you're going to see this year, and really what you've seen last year, Brandon, has been a big part. It's been us recognizing that data is extremely, extremely valuable to our company.
Yes.
Like
Yeah, absolutely.
Started taking those deep dives and coming up with like SNAs. Really, when it comes to decision making in our company now, because we've got the right people in the mix and we're actually able to kind of pull data the way we need to, we can actually make very educated decisions and pretty much kind of know how to predict what's going to happen because of that data. So,
well, and I think this goes to our overall value prop in the industry that we should talk about for just a second, because, you know, the one thing that we keep hearing other people talk about is you should just work harder, work harder, work harder. Listen, there's no doubt that you should work hard. Okay. But if it becomes if it comes to the point where you're sacrificing the things that are important in life because you have to spend more time trying to track down people on crappy leads, and that goes against everything that we stand for, which is we want you to have more time. We don't want you to work harder. We want you to work smarter. We want to give you the tools so that you can work harder and smarter. Some people will go out and bust it because they're the type of personality, they want to go work hard. They want to go put in 60 hours. Other people, not necessarily that, right? And even if you do want to go put in 60 hours, your results should grow with the amount of time that you put in. Somebody says, I want to go out and make $100,000 a year. We want to give you the opportunity to do that in 25, 30 hours. Some people less. Some people say, I want to go make $1 million a year. Okay, there's a system in place where you can go do that. But if all you're hearing is you need to shut up, stop complaining, and go work harder, that means you are part of a complete broken system. And somebody is profiting off of that. And I guarantee you, they are not working harder.
You're building someone else's legacy in your 60 hours a week. You're not building your legacy. You may be building somewhat of an income for yourself temporarily, but again, like for us, we don't want you guys, we don't want it to take you 60 hours a week to just pay your bills and have some surplus.
Right.
We want to try to figure out how to get you in a spot. And that's always been our mission, because if you're always working on your now money, you're not going to have future money. That's the trick in this game, in this industry. The beautiful part is there's a lot of upside right now. You go out and make a sale and you make $1,000 or $600 or $800, whatever you make. That's great, but you're only as good as your last sale. How do we get you making what you need to from an income standpoint in a lot less time? Our war cry behind the scenes right now is half the time, twice the money. Half the time, twice the money. Everything we're investing in, everything we're innovating is about trying to scale your time back so that you can spend more time doing what you want to do, or building your business, working on your future income. So,
yeah. You and I've been, we had a little bit of a debate last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and maybe people can weigh in just real quickly in the Q&A. Do you like half the time, twice the money better, or twice the money, half the time? We like half the time, twice the money. If you like twice the money, half the time, chime in on the chat here.
If you're a competitor, it might be that you
like, what rolls off your tongue better?
I like half the time, twice the money.
I do too.
But yeah, maybe we're saying it wrong.
Maybe so. What were you going to say about if you're at a competitor, it's twice the time, half the money?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not what we want.
Make sure you get that right.
Not that what we want. All right, what's next? What a huge year for DFL. And to think of everything that you guys accomplished, that Mike Resma was able to accomplish. I hear him yelling from all the way there in the other office. Yeah, you hear that? That's what we get to deal with every day, because you have somebody that's so freaking passionate about this. And you know why they're so passionate? Look at this. I'll come back to these, so I'm not just rolling through these. In 1 year alone, you guys saved over $300 million of scheduled interest for your clients.
That
is a ridiculous number. That is a ridiculous number, by the way. $300 million is what you guys saved your clients. And we are just getting started on this. Let me go back up to the top. We rolled out the whole new digital sales platform for DFL. We launched and scaled new lead sources, and we're just getting started on those, right?
Yep.
We want to get back in front of people as soon as we can, as soon as it's safe to do more in-person boot camps. That's coming. But I think everybody that participated in the growth of Debt-Free Life needs to give yourself a pat on the back. If you wrote one policy, if you wrote 100 policies, you are doing a huge thing for people out there. And I can't wait to see where this is going to go.
Yep. And
A little
everyone
advanced.
on the line with that needs to be getting a DFL policy.
Yes.
You need to do
If you were a client, if you were an agent, what's the old hair club for men thing? Not only am I a client, or not only am I an agent, I'm also a client. That needs to be your cry.
Yep. Right.
So exciting for that one, guys. And then this one, man. This is the first of many, but fully digitally underwritten, simplified issue. It's a term policy that you can get up to $1 million in most age brackets in 10 minutes or less. We were talking to Ashley Tarr Friday, I think it was, and her team, some of her team. And I think Ashley said that she herself wrote, it was like 7 or 8 or 10 policies over the break. I don't know if Ashley's been in the field for a while. When she was a monster. Don't get me wrong. But how many of you are sharing this with your friends, with your family? This is a game changer.
Yep.
This is crazy. And like I said, we're just getting started. We have on the docket another 4 products that should drop this year, most of which should drop within the first couple of quarters. We have some add-ons. We just added on return of premium. There's some new additional add-ons that'll be coming very quickly to this product as well. The great thing about the future of our products with Quility products is that it will all be on one seamless platform. It will do the selecting processes for you. All of them will be extremely fast with how they're underwritten and extremely accurate. And we have carriers lined up right now begging us to be part of the platform. And that is so exciting. Look at this. 1 quarter, Casey.
Yep.
1 quarter. 4,150 applications launched, almost $4 million in premium launched. We had an 18-month goal of about twice that number. You guys are going to blow that out of the water in the first 6 months. That's exciting.
More to come too, buddy.
10 minutes. Now listen, we say in as little as 10 minutes, but Casey took out his policy in about 7.5 minutes. It took me about 8.5 minutes mine because it wasn't, we hadn't rolled it out to everyone yet. So I was kind of guinea pigging. And I got to the end, I had the policy in my email and I'm like, I don't think I'm done, am I? So I was still looking around for stuff that I had to do. We had to clean up the process just a touch. And listen, there are going to be some issues, no doubt. Anytime you're rolling out something that's this big and this revolutionary, there's going to be a few challenges, but bear with us because it is certainly getting better.
Yep. And it does have ROP now.
Yes, it does. Man, we had some great hires.
Yes, we did.
In 2021. Everybody's worked with Brian Williamson. Brian, if you want to unveil.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's worked with Brian, or so many people had worked with you over the past 2-3 years. It feels like you've been part of the company for 5 years. So when I say that you were a new hire in 2021, that seems kind of crazy to us. But so all that to say, you've made a huge impact kind of prior to coming on full time, and just seeing Casey in the meetings that we were in last week with our quarterly and our annual rocks, what we've got coming up with Brian and his team is really exciting. How's it been for your first 6 months, buddy?
Oh man. I am like, pinch me. Is it real every day still? I get to every day say, I've had the privilege of, responding to business needs about the opportunities that are obvious with leadership and development and learning and development, but also then just kind of job crafting into strengths and visioning the leadership and development office. So it's been incredible. And we've gotten a taste of results, right? We're going to be quantifying a lot of our coaching system results and publishing those this quarter. We've gotten, and they're pretty significant in itself, but a lot of the things that we've been building are in the bat cave and have involved a tremendous amount of people behind the scenes. And so we are 100% committed to ROI driven learning and development initiatives, not just learning for the sake of learning, but making sure it's making you a better human, a better business leader, a better spouse, a better friend. And I could not be more excited for what we get to roll out next month. And all the pieces that we're investing in. So yeah, it's been unbelievable. So yeah,
Well, it's certainly been unbelievable for us to have you here
Thanks.
almost every other week. I know you're back and forth between here and home, but anytime we get a chance to be around Brian, that enthusiasm is infectious. And really all of these guys, I'm looking at Travis, Max, everybody's had an opportunity to work with Max over the past 3 to 6 months on our builders calls. Everybody is going to have an opportunity to work more with Travis. I don't think Travis is on the host code. If he is, if you are, buddy, you can jump in here, but I don't see him. I don't think he is. Had COVID last week. Thankfully, gotten over that, starting to feel better. The fog is starting to release a little bit. So that's good, but also has been a huge pickup for the team, kind of overseeing all the different sales divisions. And when you think about Quility, so that everybody kind of understands how this works, you've got the field division, which is Symmetry. Yeah, corporate division up to this point has been more about cross-sell. That's going to evolve a little bit. We have a wholesale division, as you guys know, and we have an affinity division that is just starting to launch. So there's going to be a lot of bird dog opportunities coming this year for you guys. We've been working a lot behind the scenes, but Travis is kind of above all those sales divisions and has done just a magnificent job. Max, as you know, is the vice president of agent recruiting, making a huge impact. We'll have some really big announcements coming up within 30 to 45 days on that. And then Ethan Drum, is Ethan on the host code? Max, you can unveil too, buddy, if you want to. There's Ethan.
Hey, buddy.
What's happening?
Ethan, how would you, without letting any cats out of any bags, how would you describe your role? Because there's a pretty big cat that's going to be let out of a bag pretty soon.
Yeah, so my new role, well, first of all, someone's coming in that we're going to be announcing soon to replace me, who is a baller and takes our company to the next level. Just give you a hint, he used to own a hotel that had the name Gaylord in it. And then the other piece is my role is going to take what we are going to really call Quility member services to the next level. And that's all we're going to say.
There you go. Yeah, don't say anything else.
Very
all we're
good at
gonna
building
say.
suspense.
Yeah,
Good
it's
team.
good.
Yeah, super excited for you, Ethan. Max, why don't you unveil for just a second, man? Everybody knows you, but I kind of talked about Brian's personality being infectious. Any chance I get to be around Maximus Day, I do it, even if it's virtual, because he's one of those guys that every time I leave a phone call or I leave a meeting, I feel better than when I showed up. So Max, what you see on the docket for you, buddy?
No, I don't know if you guys can hear me. My video stopped by the hosting, but I can tell you, we've got some really, really exciting things coming up, and I don't want to unveil too much, but I guarantee you, can you guys hear me fine, Brandon?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got you.
we got you, buddy.
Yeah. So what we've got coming up is gonna be really, really super awesome for every single agent that just joins all the way through to the top people for recruiting, the recruiting funnel and the owner circle sites and all the ability to do some automation with some of that stuff's coming down the pipe. And I'm super excited because we've tested it. We know it's working and anybody can use it. So I'm just super pumped about it. And I look forward to rolling it out here pretty quick.
Nice. Appreciate you guys. You'll hear a lot more and see a lot more of these faces in 2022. And we could not be more excited to have all of them helping us kind of push through, because there's a lot of initiatives going on behind the scenes. As everyone knows, we dropped a few more years in August of last year. 198 agents were able to participate in the equity appreciation rights, 66 corporate staff members as well. We will be having an update on what that looks like for 2022 very soon. So stay tuned. But I think one of the things you said to me this morning, Casey, that I think is a great reminder is there are so many people that barely missed, and there's so many people that barely made it. And the difference was consistency. And for a lot of people, it was two things: getting off to a fast start in the year and taking advantage of double ears, weeks, or months. Yep. They made a huge difference. So, friendly reminder, holidays are over. Time to kind of get the fog out of your brain and the cobwebs out of your eyes. And it's time to get after it. Because if you looked at those leaderboards that we just showed about 30 minutes ago, you saw some huge numbers in production last week. If you weren't in those numbers, it's because either of a lack of resources or a lack of activity. That's it. It's go time.
Right. And, back on the ears for just for a second, I know a lot of people, especially those of you who have got ears or, working on hopefully getting grants for this year. We're still marching down the road from a market standpoint. But there's some time, there's timing there that we got to pay attention to as well. And that the wrong time to take on capital is when you may not need it as much, because what's happened with the growth in our company, you start to be able to self-fund a lot of the initiatives. And with going into some sort of a capital event, you start to kind of have to question, well, what is that costing us? Is that the right time to kind of capitalize and hit that trigger? And what we've learned through the past year or so is that we are still so early. And we've, as you guys know, over the past 2 to 3 years now, we've walked away from 3 to 4 potential partnerships, strategic partners, capital partners. They've all kind of been in a little bit different categories, but we've turned down some extremely, what would have been life-changing financial, aspects for the founders, but that's not what this is about. We're already doing okay. We're not, we're not looking for a garage full of Ferraris. So it's like, we're kind of looking at this thing from a standpoint of what is the best thing to create longevity, even more longevity for this company, so that we're here 10 years, 20, 30, 100 years down the road. So a lot of this just has to do with timing and just trusting that what we're doing is we're going to build the best company we can. And we're going to need y'all's help to do it. And as we go, even once ears are out of the question, and we're because we said we were going to do a certain amount of rounds of those, we're still going to be looking for ways to bring people into ownership and equity and something that actually is over and above the cash flow and the asset that you actually create in your business. So we're always going to kind of have that at our core. It's just a matter of kind of the right timing around some of this stuff. So we'll keep you up to date on that.
Yep. Well said. Champions Cup, we rolled out the 1st of November. All expense paid trip, overall winner from Symmetry, as well as the top winners from each direct organization. You're going on a world-class tropical vacation with the founders, top level leaders. I have some more announcements on that here coming up in just a few minutes. I think something that we've been working on for 18 months or so finally came to fruition. We did roll out the direct consumer piece earlier in the year. It was not necessarily the best product from a frictionless process standpoint. We are continuing to kind of monitor how to remove more friction points, how to increase more sales. We are seeing a ton of traffic to our site. We're seeing a ton of traffic to your sites, those of you that are using it correctly. We're committed to making sure, looking at as we continue to kind of do a deep dive into the data, to help you guys on how to market your sites better. This is something that's really unique. There are other companies, 2 or 3 out there, that have a direct-to-consumer page and a direct-to-consumer process. There are even some out there that are trying to start recruiting agents, because they notice how important having 5,000 agents out there is, or we have 5,000 agents. They know how hard it is to get people to go all the way through the process. We're going to continue to build on this platform with new products. You're going to see FE join the platform soon. You're going to see other types of products, other types of add-ons go into the products that we have. But this is all part of a strategy for us, Casey, where it seems like the rest of the industry is going the opposite way. We're not trying to eliminate the agent. We're trying to empower the agent. Everything that we're doing is to give you your own digital storefront so that you can recruit more people that way. You can sell more product that way. Everything we're working on behind the scenes is to continue to improve on that whole digital process. We're going to keep you posted on things to come, but at a minimum, I would say you need to be sharing your platforms with everybody you possibly can that is in your warm market. But that comes with a caveat. This is not meant to use for your leads. That requires engagement, and you're not going to get nearly the traction or the number of sales by just trying to kind of share this with people that haven't kind of gone there themselves. Okay. But a warm market tool, I'd be using this like crazy. I've heard from certain agents that we talked about Ashley Tarr making a lot of sales. I've heard other agents that have sold, 10, 15 direct consumer applications, mainly just sharing it with their friends and family. That's where I would start.
Yep.
This is a big one. Maybe people don't really understand just how big it is. In 1 month, you guys have had 16,000 users, not people that just got their card, people that actually used the card. $20,000 so far in prescription savings for our customers in 1 month, and over 500 agents receiving commission in January. We are going to set a limit on commission. We'll keep you guys updated on that, but it's probably not going to be very profitable for us to send out $2 commissions. So we'll keep you posted. There'll be a threshold that you hit, and then you'll get a check, et cetera. But I mean, life-changing stuff when you talk about just one customer that we've heard of saved over $1,700 on a single prescription.
Yep.
How do you put a value
awesome
on that? And
stories
it's a
like that,
free
yeah.
benefit, Casey. It's
I
a
know.
free benefit.
Yep.
$1,700. And we're just getting started on this. How does it affect the agent? For the agent that has 40 enrollees per month over 12 months, that's still $768 a month, taking care of a lot of lead cost. For an AO, if you have 15 agents doing that, you're making $2,100. For a direct that has 15 agents doing it, $720 a month. Okay. What does that look like after 2 years? Just doing 40 enrollments in a month, that's $1,500, $18,000 a year in passive income just for signing people up for a free benefit. For an AO, almost $50,000 a year after 2 years.
Well,
That's
again,
crazy.
the other thing you got to think about is just there's the initial commission that you get here, but there's also the extra door that you might be able to open or leave open with your client. That client that uses that card every month to save themselves $50 and it says Quility RX on it, like the likelihood of them canceling their policy with you goes down by a good bit. So, less chargebacks. When it comes time for the cross-sell team to engage, there's more engagement there because the client is seeing that Quility RX. It's just, so it creates more cross-sell commission. So it's just like, it's hard to actually, put into numbers what this actually is going to do for the business, but it's about getting consistent with it. Every single home, got a lot of comments saying the RX card needs to be our 6th R in the 5 R's process at the end of the sale. And I kind of agree with that. And he's okay. Let's talk about the Quility RX card now.
Yep. I was
every time.
I got a stat in from Ethan a little earlier. We had an agency owner, Elliot Freer, enroll over 400 members in December. 400 in December. Ethan reminded me that if he does a quarter of that, so if you do 100 a month, after 2 years, you'll be making $200,000 a year. Passive income.
Yep.
You know how many State Farm, Farm Bureau, PNC people that get into that business because they want to create recurring revenue? How long do you have to be in the business before you can generate $200,000 a year of passive income? That is a monster number.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Love it, man. And again, you guys made a huge impact this year for Make-A-Wish. On one day, December the 8th, you guys raised $217,000. Over $267,000 raised all of last year. And so, obviously, thank you guys so much for helping us make an impact. We continue to prove that we're so strong together. And just a little bit of focus goes a long way in changing people's lives that need it changed more than anything else, man. The stuff that they're going through. So congratulations to everybody that played a part in that. And maybe if you were late to the game and you're brand new and you didn't have any money to give back, this will be your year. We just also appreciate you just being with us to make that event special.
Yep.
So how did we do, man?
Did all this investment pay off?
It looks like it did.
It looks like it did. Look at
You
that.
guys grew in 1 year. You grew as much as it took us in about 5 years to grow. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Almost 30% growth. And look at this, 45% growth in A leads, 45% growth in new agency owners, which is unbelievable. We grew by 42 in 2020. We grew by 61 in 2021.
Crazy.
Look at the number of directs. 6 grew in 2021 versus 2. Equity partners, we grew 5.
Yep. Those
versus
two
1.
categories, if you're new on the phone, those are the uppermost levels of our compensation, of our leadership platform, is once you get to being direct to the company, or you actually get direct to the company and then you bring someone else with you, that's a new equity partner. So just, you know, these are some of the coolest graphs we've seen, you know, Brandon, about just what's happening, because it's one thing for the company to grow, but it's another thing when you can drill down and see what, well, the company is growing collectively because the people are growing, the leadership is growing, you know?
Yep. I'm a little late on this, but Jacob Pogue sent a text saying he has one agent that's saving over $20,000 a year from the Quility RX card.
Crazy.
20 grand. Congratulations, everybody that grew. Everybody that didn't, let us know how we can help. We're here. We're here for you. 83%, I mentioned this earlier, 83% of Symmetry agencies grew in 2021. That's special. That is special.
Nice work, guys.
So for the year, and this isn't really for the year, this is just through November. Slingshot bonuses were $305,000, producer bonuses paid out $700,000, equity bonuses 8.2, almost 8.3 million, 587,000 for capital bonuses. The cool thing about all of this is that we will easily surpass $10 million in bonuses paid out in 2021. If you are receiving bonuses, give yourselves a hand.
Nice work,
Go get you
guys.
some more of them. Well done. Just a recap on how to get a producer's bonus. You can get online, you can find us, talk to your manager, make sure that you're doing everything you can to qualify for the bonuses. You have to have a minimum 200 PPL for 90-day rolling PPL, max price credit 7,500. You can see the breakdown there in the bonus percentage. It's all about bonusable carriers. Some are bonused at 100%, some are bonused at 50%, and some have zero bonus. Okay. Sit down, take the time, understand these bonuses so that you can participate in them. Also, this one's a little more complicated to explain on a call. I think the bottom line is if you don't know how these are calculated, if you don't know what you need to do to earn them, take some time, talk with your AO, read up on it today. You'll get it. Okay. Once again, Mr. Watkins, you are part of the Inc. 5000's
Love it.
6 years in a row, fastest growing companies. And for 2 years, 2 consecutive years, top company culture by Entrepreneur. Not too bad, buddy.
Well done, brother.
Couple of updates here for you. I cannot wait to get into this in the coming soon. We wanted to roll out more on this. Our lead GM, Mike Hansen, who many of you have had an opportunity to meet and talk with, also got COVID. He's on the other side of it, feels much better, but wasn't able to kind of put the work into showing you all that we've been doing. But this is just kind of a snapshot of what's to come. Okay. We're looking at so much data so that we can forecast for you guys very clearly where you can expect leads to come in, what the opportunities look like. So if I'm looking at this heat map as an example, all of the purple and the pink, the dots there you see, that's agents. That's where the agents are. The rest is color coded on where the data is, mostly responder data. So if I take, for example, some of these areas where I'm seeing that there are not as many agents, and I see where there's more data coming in the past, maybe it didn't make sense for you, Casey, to have someone in Billings, Montana, because maybe you were only going to be able to get 10 leads a month there, unless you were willing to travel down to Wyoming, up to Great Falls, over to Missoula, all points in between. Now what we're showing is that people that are willing to take on statewide GMRs and even multi-state GMRs are finding new pockets of leads where close ratios are higher because no one else is mailing them, and no one else is even trying to work them. And maybe they can't get the number of leads they need in 2 or 3 counties, but they can in a full state or maybe 2 states. What we're showing is that by manipulating a few things in how we mail, we should be able to uncover an additional 1,500, 2,000 leads every single week just on direct mail mortgage protection. So how do you quantify that if you're a manager? If you're an agent listening in right now and you don't have the resources that you need to hit your goal, maybe your goal is 5,000 a week, maybe it's 10,000 a week, whatever that goal is, you're not getting the resources. Maybe you're looking at working more bonus leads, but you want to work more A leads. If you are proficient at selling virtually, which over 75% of our sales are coming in either virtually or via telesales, then this is a ticket for you. You can pick a state, maybe 2 states, turn on a statewide GMR and get 10, 15, potentially even 20 direct mail A leads every single week. Maybe you live in North Dakota, maybe you live in Minneapolis, maybe there's a lot of snow already on the ground. Maybe you don't want to drive in that snow to go up to Fargo or wherever it is you're going. Maybe this is your year to start really focusing on virtual sales and what it takes for you to be proficient at that. Make the transition. So many other people have. Agency owners, listen. This is just direct mail. We know that we can scale our digital leads, not DigiX leads, our digital leads, we can scale 10 times of what we're seeing now. Our close ratios are right in line with where we are with direct mail mortgage protection. Some of the things that we're going to have to work on is being willing to change where I'm working first, like we just talked about, but potentially being able to change how I'm working. Sales velocity is going to be so crucial moving forward. The people that can get on the phone and make contact within minutes instead of hours, much less days, especially when it comes to digital leads, you'll see your close ratios climb by 30, 40, sometimes 50% in what we're seeing on the lead.
Probably just be necessary. You know,
Say again.
It'll just become necessary that, you know, and really the evolution where we feel like this thing likely will be within even a year, but for sure within 24 months, is that it's routing pretty much live transfers to you, the agent. And so getting in the habit of being agile this year and figuring out how to get your teams working leads quicker, a little bit more of a flexible kind of feel to that schedule, to where maybe I'm, you know, again, you don't have to get there now, but that future state might be that I've got a 4-hour window on Thursdays that are meant for, you know, for personal sales. And so I'm basically on call, I'm plugged in, or maybe it's 2 hours, you know, just, but the speed to sell, the speed to contact, and the speed to sell is going to be, is going to start getting more and more rapid, more and more kind of real time. So you just got to start kind of thinking about your agility and your ability to say, well, if corporate says this and this lead needs to be worked quick, then jump in line with that.
Yep. The thing that excites me most about this map, Casey, is look at 12 o'clock midnight up there. What do you see? There's Brandon.
Oh, Brandon up in Winnipeg.
That's me. Ready for you guys to give me a buzz, sell me some insurance.
A lot more goodies coming on leads.
Probably pretty cold in Brandon. I would
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah. Recruiting enhancements. We're going to get into this a lot in the coming. Phase 1 of Owner Circle recruiting funnel goes live tomorrow. Many updates have already been made to reduce friction points, add new content to increase recruitment conversions. Later this quarter, you're going to see phase 2 roll out. We're going to make the switch to Calendly, as some people have requested. And obviously you can get on HQ to find out more about this. But Casey, what should they be excited about with just recruiting in general, and certainly some of these recruiting funnels?
Yeah, again, just kind of going back to being a very, very data-driven company. and having guys like Max in the loop now that can say, well, here are the funnels that are actually working. So the money that I'm investing, I want to get twice the return for when it comes to recruiting. I want twice the interviews. I want twice the candidates, and I want that done in a more efficient manner. That's what this whole platform is about. So if you don't have owner circle, then you need to get it and start taking part of some of these funnels that we know work. But yeah, a lot more on that coming too.
Quality RX enhancements are also coming, more marketing collateral that's going to be available on HQ. It's currently in compliance review. Going to be a lot more training webinars for you to understand exactly how to get the most usage out of this. We're going to hear from the people that are doing it the best. We're going to systematize exactly how they're doing it, give you guys the runway there. Right now, I would say you need to be talking about it with everyone. You need to be signing as many people up as possible, and you just need to hop online or let them hop online and see what kind of savings they can get. You never know when it can be life-changing for someone. HQ is now optimized for mobile. A lot of questions and requests for that. So there you go. That's going to help a lot for those of you that are signing people up in person, certainly with HQ. And then Casey, a big one.
The big one.
Wednesday, February 23rd. Right now it's at 4 p.m. Eastern. We do reserve the right to finagle that time just a little bit. We don't think we are. We have our second virtual summit coming on. This isn't going to be quite a full-blown virtual conference. We do have our conference coming up in August. As we continue to nail down specifics, we'll let you know. But this is going to be an opportunity for you guys to springboard having all the people that you had registered for Denver in February to actually funnel them to this virtual event. This will mainly be Casey, you, and me giving a little bit of a State of the Union, some additional rollouts, hearing from some of the people behind the scenes here at the home office, that sort of thing. But why, if I'm an agent listening in, why should I be excited about this?
I think because the ease of getting people plugged into it. If you're wanting to build, that would be on my brain, is about how many people can I actually get kind of plugging into this virtual event. So they see the vision, they see where the company is going, they see the opportunity. And again, just from a timing standpoint, we're in the midst of the biggest gig economy kind of movement I've ever seen. People in record numbers kind of getting away from their jobs or just looking for a side hustle or whatever it is they're doing. But there's just a lot of opportunity for us as a company to, bring more people in. And again, as you guys know, that comes through you guys. And so just getting as many people, that's what kicked us off last year so well, is that we were able to get in front of, 20,000 people to show them a glimpse at our company. This is going to be about a 3.5 to 4 hour virtual summit. And so it'll be a lot quicker, a lot punchier. It won't be 2 days. It'll just be enough to kind of do some massive rollouts. There's rollouts coming. There's things coming that are going to greatly enhance you guys' lives as agents and builders. Brian is celebrating over there because I know one of them for sure that he has a massive play in. But there's some really big stuff coming that even just before this call, Brandon, we were getting extremely excited about just how it's hard to even find words to describe how kind of big this is going to be for our company. So you're going to want to not just be on this call, you're going to want to get a bunch of people on this call with you. It's going to be a good one.
Yep.
It's not a call. It's going to be, I say a call, it's going to be an actual something you're going to want to, have some sort of virtual watch parties, treat this thing as a conference, even though we're not calling it a conference because conference is going to be in August. It is still under the reimagine theme because there's a lot to reimagine. But I would be treating this as the conference from a promotion standpoint, from how you're going to kind of, intentionally go about making sure that the team is plugging into it, creating something around that to create some community. So again, I know COVID is in the air there. So it's like, how do you want to do watch parties and stuff like that? Maybe a little bit more doable versus getting 5, 6, 7,000 people in one room. It's probably a lot safer, but still want everyone to be safe with it. But I would be thinking about this on that level of a conference.
Well said, buddy. I'm really excited about it. We thought about shortening the name, but we didn't. Just anybody that's asking.
QVS.
Virtual Summit does not, it sounds way cooler than VertSum.
I like Versum too. This is going to be a fun one.
This is going to be a fun one.
So we haven't actually, all the Champions Cup players have just been trusting that we were going to make this, all that work and all that competitiveness actually count. So I think it's going to. This is the first time we've ever been to this one, right, Brandon? This is Cabo,
Yes.
and it's going to be the LeBlanc in Cabo, and it's going to be, for those of you who win the Champions Cup, you're going with. We've started what we're calling the directs trip. So when you become a direct with our company, once a year, the plan is for everyone that can, we're just going to go on a trip together and we're going to have a good time. We're going to hang out. That's what this trip is. And so when we got together with all the advisory board members and some of the equity partners, we said, what do we want the prize to be for the Champions Cup winners? We said, let's invite them on the directs trip. So not only are you getting to go hang out at this 5-star all-inclusive resort in Cabo, you're also going to get to hang around the best of the best, not just in our company, but in the industry.
Imagine what you can pick
Pretty
up
cool.
sitting around the pool, you know,
Oh,
just having conversations with a cocktail or a pop.
that was,
in your hand.
that was our education in this business, Brandon, was sitting around
Yeah.
pools like this, like learning from people who are where we wanted to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Many of you have been to the LeBlanc in Cancun. I cannot wait to see the LeBlanc in Cabo.
that's pretty
I've
cool.
heard it's actually better, and we've had so many people say that the LeBlanc resort in Cancun was one of their favorite resorts, if not their favorite resort.
Yep.
Certainly the best all-inclusive resort they've ever been to.
Yeah,
So-
same.
I think I've got some more pictures here. Let's take a look, shall we? That's
All
where
right.
I'd like to hang out, right there under that first umbrella.
You'll be in that golf course too. I know it.
Yep. That's where Ziller and I are going to take the cup. I'll be hanging out right here in the spa too.
That does look good, doesn't it?
You know,
Oh, I could use that right now.
I always like to pair up with
Hot
Ziller.
tub.
It's going to be me, Ziller, and
I'm already stacking the teams, Brandon.
that's right. Got a word of the year for you, buddy. Word of the year. We've done this for probably 6 years.
Yeah.
If I had to guess,
so.
throw a dart at it, 6 or 7 years. The word of the year this year is process, a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. We love this word because there's so many things that it can mean. Casey, why should people kind of buy into this word as the word of the year, and what can they take from this?
Yeah, I mean, I think we put a lot of thought into our word of the year, because we've seen the impact that our word of the year makes, like last year with Invest, and it just really aligned everyone's kind of thoughts, all the leadership kind of like, all right, this is kind of the focus this year. And we started thinking about the word invest and what we did this year. And over the past month or so, especially, one of the things that Brandon and I think have learned so much over the last couple of years is that there is an operating system that we have started to kind of incorporate in our company for more than a couple of years. But I think we've really started to see the benefits and the traction that we get from this operating system. It's called EOS. It's Entrepreneurial Operating System, right? Brian, feel free to jump on. You're the EOS pro. But to put it very simply, if you ask me, like, knowing what you know not now, what would you change if you were a producer or someone wanting to build a business? I would say I would get a lot more process focus. I would create a process system, something that I can measure the results, because we always say you can't expect what you don't inspect. And what gets measured gets improved. And so it's about getting everyone in our company, especially if you're now in the investment mindset, which you should be as a business owner, whether you're a personal producer or growing an agency or both, you should be very squarely in the business owner mindset, which is about investment. How do I make sure that this investment that we're making we actually have a clear process to make sure that there's ROI that's coming from that. And so we're going to be working a lot more behind the scenes on firming up some of those processes, although I do think there's a lot of benefit in you guys acting as your own CEOs of your own personal business. And from the very start, it may be just managing some very simple metrics like how many dials I'm making, how many contacts I'm making, and how many appointments I'm making. Or if you're starting to just get into this, like I want to produce and sell, maybe you're using the 2-box method where I want a certain amount of appointments and I want a certain amount of interviews. But the act of getting together on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, and then annually also resetting, Brian, I mean, you've been a big part of this, helping us understand the value of a process for our kind of our big things that we're trying to accomplish as a company. Maybe you can speak a little bit to that too, but I'm just excited about everyone getting aligned towards a common. We should be checking in weekly and not just like looking at the leaderboards, because the leaderboards are in some ways the worst indicator that you can look at for what to do, because it's lagging by 90 to 120 days. What you're seeing right now is not a picture of your health as a personal producer or an agency. It's a picture of what was going on 90 days ago. So I think everyone getting in this habit of weekly checking in to a scorecard, just as we do behind the scenes. We have a scorecard we look at. We say, what's on track, what's off track? Why are these numbers down? And then if they're down, we do IDS, which is identify, discuss, and solve. We figure out what's the actual problem here, and we solve that problem. And then we check back next week and we say, how does that look? And we monitor it. So Brian, would love your comments on that.
Yeah, this word of the year is actually just so bullseye to me in terms of where we're at as an organization and agencies. And I think the benefit that you have as an agency builder and someone who actually aspires to build an agency is that you don't have to engineer the business on your own. In other words, an engineer has to sort of, from the beginning, if you're starting a new system or starting something, really has to map out with great detail, what are the steps, what are the components we need, how do they all fit together, how do they work together? Because honestly, it doesn't help to take if you have a BMW and you have a Volkswagen, you can't take a BMW, engine and put it right in a Volkswagen. The parts don't actually align, right? So having someone who's fully thought through, what does it look like to drive the BMW of this Symmetry success system that we have? And actually we know what that is. So you don't have to engineer step by step. We're reverse engineering for you. What are the steps and what are the actions that you need to take to achieve that end? And nothing could be more confidence giving. Nothing could be more life giving. We've often used this metaphor or language of a system, right? That saves you stress, time, energy, and money. And really system and process, there's a lot of similarities to those things. And these, the word of process and grabbing the business bull by the horns and breaking it down into the irreducible minimum.
Yep.
That's what, at the end of the day, makes it so that you end up with the results that you want. So we're really excited, Casey, about this word and how it will be providing the appropriate amount of detailed focus in the business for people so that you can get the results, right? You can't control outcomes. You can only control the activities that lead to outcomes.
Well, I think everybody's so scoreboard focused, leaderboard focused. In case you said it, it's not the best indication of where you are today. You can't be focused on the end result. You can start with the end result in mind, but you really got to focus on the activities that are going to yield that result. And I think if you haven't been good at that, it's a great time to kind of take a reset to understand what is it going to take for me to achieve what it is that I'm wanting to achieve. If it's $20,000 a month in premium, you got to take a step back and understand that part of the process is I have to invest in my resources. I have to set aside time to do these things that are going to yield the result that I'm looking for. But you have to be clear on what the steps are within that process. This is something that's great for you to talk with your AOs about, your mentors about. It's great for directs and AOs to talk about on their huddle ups, so that every single day, we were saying this to one of Delaney's teams the other day, Casey. It was great. seeing them, but every single morning I've got to wake up and know exactly what I'm meant to be doing that day, right? Understanding your calendar, managing your time efficiently is, arguably the most important part of the process. You can't do that effectively if you don't know what you should be doing in your day. It's kind of like process 101. It's the very start of how I'm going to get to where I'm going. And then I can hold myself accountable to the smaller results that are going to lead to the bigger result. I need X amount of appointments so that I can get X amount of sits, Cs, sold, those things, right?
Yep.
But that's what I've got to be focused on, not just the leaderboard. And I think if you're not careful, you look at the end result of others. Maybe that end result is just a week, maybe it's a month, whatever it is, and you begin to judge yourself harshly about against those results that someone else is getting. And really what you should be doing is judging yourself against yourself, but you really need to be looking at what are some of the things that they're doing to get the results, because it's such a business of duplication. All I have to do is mimic what other people are doing. I've got to mimic the people that are above me, right? I have to, if I want to get the results that Brian Delaney's getting, Ayers and Sisley needs to do what Brian Delaney is doing, do what the company is telling you to do to get those results. So I think kind of putting that into very fundamental, actionable steps is going to be important for mentors throughout the year so that they can understand and they can teach you exactly where I've got to be focused.
Yep. And again, so much of the stuff we're building behind the scenes is with this in mind too, like coming up with that clear process at every stage, or at least the bones of it, so that you guys have that platform to be able to say, okay, for our weekly check-in, what's the scorecard? What are those metrics that are most important for me and my business right now? And what are some of the things that could be keeping me from hitting those numbers, So.
Yep. Well said. Any advisory board members want to jump in quickly? I know we were hoping to kind of wrap to let everybody get back into running that business, make some dials, but
I will just say this on the process too, while we get an advisory board member or two, just to kind of help close us down, is that I think that it starts with a goal, and I think so many people maybe just kind of chalk that up to a cliche type thing that, just maybe underestimate the value of goal setting. And I think I've certainly set goals in the past where I really didn't put much thought into it, and it probably didn't really work the right way, right? But I do think because there's so much opportunity in front of us right now with this company, it really sparked the whole reimagined theme to our conference, and the reimagined theme to what you're going to see on February 23rd, which is the industry is changing. We are a big part of that change. We decided that a couple of years ago. We weren't going to sit back and get ran over by the change. We were actually going to lead the way and be the tip of the spear. That creates a lot of opportunity. And I think everyone on the call, if you're not already thinking about that, you should be. You should be thinking about, this is the gold rush right now in our industry. And, what does that mean for you? And what could that mean for you? What do you actually want your life to look like 12 months from now? In every category, what do you want your life to look like? What do you want your relationships to look like? What do you want your business to look like? What do you want your health to look like? I think the act of goal setting to start before process is pretty important. That's how we did our actual process this year, Brandon, with our Rocks meeting, our annual meeting. It was about looking at our 10-year goal and then looking from down from there. If our 10-year goal is this as a company, then that means our 3-year goal probably needs to be around here. And if our 3-year goal is this, what does that mean for 2022? And then backing that down into quarters. And so I just think process starts at the beginning with what is your why? What are you actually waking up for? Because your ability to stick to your process this year is going to be heavily weighed upon your why and what's actually driving you. And hopefully you had some time over the holidays to kind of get quiet and think about that. If you haven't, then get quiet and think about it, because there's a lot at stake right now. There's a lot of growth coming for this company in the next couple of years. I think we're on the very front edge of it. We look at some of these graphs and see we've grown by 40%, 50%, 70% in some categories as a company in 1 year. I think we're on such the early stage of that everyone needs to be thinking about their goals, where they want to be a year from now, where they want to be 2 years from now, 5 years from now, and then let that fuel your process. Jacob?
It's such a great point. And I know we can hear from, we probably
Yeah.
should cut it off to maybe 3 advisory board members, but it's such a great point because you never know what you're willing to give, right? Or what you're willing to give up until you really know what it is that you're fighting for. And that can't be superficial. Like, I want to be a millionaire. I want to make $100,000. Well, I mean, that's
why?
great. And maybe
Yeah.
you can do that, but why? What are you going to do with it? What is it going to allow you to do? What will your life look like? I think the Cooks leadership team did an exercise over the holidays that you and I've done, and we've talked about on this call before, that everybody should really do. And that is, journal what you want your life to look like. Like Casey said, this time next year, maybe 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. Once you start writing, you won't want to stop, but you got to be very specific. Jacob Pogue, you got to be specific, man. When you were back there slinging drinks and you were not coming home until 2 o'clock in the morning because you were working and you were making good money, and it was really hard to leave that. But, I think Delaney used to say it perfectly, that money began to cost you too much, right? So you had a pretty clear picture, and I imagine that has evolved greatly, and you have a very clear picture of what you want now, 2 years, 3 years down the road. But maybe you can just kind of speak to that for a second, the importance of really understanding your why and what it is that you're wanting.
Yeah, man. I first of all, just Jacob Pogue, director of Symmetry and Marshall Whalen. I'm just so grateful, man. I just went in my notes. I was just writing down. We are so lucky to be here, man. So lucky to be here with you guys, with founders that constantly innovate. You're focused on profitability of the agents because you know that you and the leaders of this company know that if we can grow their profitability, the bottom line grows. You've added so many things this year, Slingshot, additional recruiting and sales resources, bonuses, the culture, man, of giving and growing and learning and trying new things like that is something special, where you give people the grace to grow and to learn and to become leaders, and then a platform to go lead people and help other people. I'm so grateful, man. You care about the agents, you connect with them. You want the best for us. I say it all the time. We are so lucky to have founders who truly care. And we have core values sitting on our wall, and it's one thing to have them, guys. It's another thing to walk them out. And I've known y'all for 9 years now. And the only thing that has changed is you've gotten better. Your personalities have been the same through all this, is caring about people. But I've watched you grow and all of us grow. So thank you for that. And I do want to say, putting it on paper has completely changed our business. We came out of a couple years of slow, lethargic growth in 18 and 19, or 19 and 20, I should say. And we got with Brian Williamson before he was with the company. He was our coach. We started EOS, which is putting these metrics on paper, Casey, like you were talking about.
Yep.
It changed. I've told him so many times last year, completely changed our business because we were tracking those important metrics in our business, right? And you need to get those on paper and track them, like how many appointments you're running, what is your leads under management? If you're in the field, how many dials, how many appointments, those things. Yeah. Man, we had a crazy growth this year, 35%, submit, 38% issue paid. And I give it all to the fact that we just put it on paper. We had a stretch goal of hitting 18 million. We hit right at it. And it's because we were tracking it every single week, every single month. We were coming up with it. What do we need to do this quarter? What's the most important thing we can do this quarter to help us move our business forward? And it's the same thing, Brandon, that you were saying. That comes with that 1 year plan, that 3 year plan, that 10-year plan. Casey, like you were saying, that 10-year plan can be kind of hard sometimes. You got to dream big, but getting it on paper has helped us so much. And I just think another thing that I appreciate about this company is 3 of the hardest working people in this company are you, Casey, Brandon, and Brian. And I know you're out working some of the leaders in this company, and I have been there before, but like I did last year, like I will continue to do this year, the best way I can say thank you is go out there and bust my tail this year, just like y'all are doing, because so many people need this. So many people deserve this. And we're going to change some lives this year. And I promise you guys, I'm over here working right with you because y'all are a great example of what it takes to grow something big.
Love it, buddy.
Love it. I'm going to keep it real brief. I have to chime in on that because two things.
Yeah.
Number one, just so y'all know that are listening, I got Casey on my neck about scaling EOS inside this company, and you'll learn more about that next month, but we are absolutely committed to doing that, applied to agencies. So not just EOS generally, but applied to agencies. And secondly, Jacob, it was so fun to get that call from you, or I can't remember if I called you to check in about your growth last year, because what Jacob did was he and I sat and wrestled, and I'm just playing facilitator, you know, pulling out from him. He's the expert. And we really wrestled with what is a smart goal, but what's a stretch goal, right? Smart goals that are within reach, but still stretching. And we wrestled with what's that revenue number. And just, I want y'all to know, like Jacob Pogue and his agency set out to reach a target, and that's exactly what they did. And that's so simple, but takes the time to prepare for takeoff. It is amazing.
Love it. It's so awesome. Let's get
Thank
one
you,
more.
Brian. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, man. I appreciate you and so much help. That thing was awesome.
Let me say one thing too. I just got a text from Spivey before we hear from maybe one more advisory board member. He's Spivey is out for the next couple of days. He's helping a really good friend that had an unfortunate accident. So he's helping take care of him out of the office for a couple of days. So if you're emailing, texting, trying to get in touch with him, just know that he's pretty covered up, and wanted to let you guys know on why that was. So he's not ignoring you.
Yep, that's very unlike Spivey, wouldn't it be?
Right.
All right. Any just another advisory board member want to jump on and close her down? No pressure.
No pressure. All right.
There we
I'll do
go. Danny,
I'll do it.
do it, man.
This has been an awesome call. This has been an awesome year. Last year, it's been an awesome 8 years since we got here. You know, I was thinking while you were talking earlier, showing the numbers, that I showed up in December of 2013. I think Edward Pritchett was the biggest guy at the time. I think he did less than 3 million that year. 8 years later, he does 40 million. Marshall does 40 million. Linwood went from like 19 million to 30 million in a year. I was never good at math, but something is going on here. Okay. Just look at the graphs. Look at the graph you put up, going from 86,000 the first month to doing 205 million. Every year has been up. You find a company in America that's been up every year for 12 years. Kind of hard to do. But I think Brandon hit it when he said that it all comes down to what you want. Because the fact of the matter is, this is like a math problem. What you want 100% of the time determines what you do. And what you do 100% of the time determines what you get. So if you want to get more, the answer is not to do more. The answer is to want more. So if you've been here for a month or a year or 10 years and you're not getting what you want to get, or you're not getting what you thought you'd get, or you're not getting what somebody else is getting, is not because you're not doing enough. It's because you don't want enough. And you got to work on what you want is going to determine everything about your success here. And so I don't think we spend much time on that. We spend a lot of time feeding our bodies. We don't spend a lot of time feeding our minds, and we need to feed that stuff to our minds. But I told my team the other night that you can't determine how long you're going to live, but you can determine how well you will live. And Symmetry can be the vehicle that determines how well you get to live. I just recommend we don't squander this opportunity, because you're never, ever, ever going to have one like this again. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate what y'all done for us. I appreciate the leadership of this company, all the people that have come on and have contributed to this thing. And, I question myself, see, how loud am I saying thank you with my life? So that's what I need to be doing to repay what y'all have done for my family, all the people I care about. Everything in our life is better because of what y'all put together 12 years ago, when it was a stupid time to put something like this together. But if this is a company of destiny, this company, you're going to drag some of us to wealth. That's just a fact. It'd be a lot easier if we would do our part. And that's what we plan on doing. So thank you all again. this is going to be an awesome, awesome next 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you.
I love it. Can't determine how long you're going to live. You can just determine how well you're going to live. I think that's a great statement to end by.
Yep.
And I love the gratitude piece. If everybody wakes up with gratitude every morning, not just for the company you work for, but the people that you get to surround yourselves with, then life gets a lot easier, I will say. So can't tell you how much we appreciate everybody that obviously joined us today, but that really helped make 2021 the year that it was. And we're going to continue to honor the people that we lost last year too, because it was also a really tough year. So with that, everybody, if you want the results, you got to go get them. They're out there. Other people are getting them. You got to get off to a quick start. Let's make this week a record week. I think we got it in us either this week or next, Casey.
That's right.
Guys.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
See y'all.